Hello everyone and welcome to another car profile, otherwise known as the BoP test that we're doing. We sort of look at the cars, and this week it's the Corvette C7 Gr3 car, and this is sort of based on the GTE car a little bit. Now, as far as I'm aware, this is supercharged, or might be supercharged. I've been trying to read up on it a little bit because it's very good on fuel, and it's the first car that we've got where you don't actually have to rev the car out. So I'm pretty sure it's supercharged, but don't quote me on that. But apparently the whole car is designed about fuel efficiency a little bit, and also getting the performance out there as well. It says that in the information, so make sure you look at that. But in the BoP test, we do the usual things. There are 5 tracks that we look at. So we're at Brands Hatch first of all, and we're looking for the best optimal time. We're not necessarily going for the fastest, although you're going to look at the fastest lap, and we're on lap number 16. So why have I done 16 laps in the Corvette? The reason being, obviously, I've changed my wheel again. So obviously we did these tests initially on the T300, which has died. We did 1 or 2, I think, on the G29, and then I decided that the braking wasn't sufficient enough or consistent enough that I wanted to carry on doing them with that. So I've now got a Fanatec CSL Elite wheel, and now we're doing them on that, and it's working fine now. To me, I made sure I was up to pace, and as you can tell, we are up to pace. So to this car, the one thing you'll find with this car is it's got a little bit of understeering there. I'm not sure why. Obviously it's front engine rear wheel drive, so the weight is over the front end, so that's going to give you a little bit of understeer, but it seems to be there more in this car than in others. However, it still is doing pretty good times. You can see my optimum at the... Ooh, just clip the grass there. You can see my optimum in the bottom right. It's a 122.2. And if you notice my gears as well, I'm higher in the gears. So one of the nice things about this car, you'll see I'll only drop 1 gear here to 4th. I'm very low in the rev range. One of the nice things with this car is you can pick your gears a little bit. So whether you want to do 3rd gear on that last corner or 4th gear, you can choose, and there's not a huge difference between them. However, if you want to minimise wheel spin, I would choose the higher gears. So it helps with stability quite a lot. As we go to Dragon Trail next. So obviously Brands Hatch was testing undulations. It's quite a high downforce circuit in terms of steering and stuff. But Dragon Trail here is a very fast circuit. We also test stability on the right hander at the end of sector 2, and you've got the chicane in there as well, which can be a bit troublesome, of course, with the curbs. So this car can ride curbs fairly okay at the moment, I think. I had no real issues, and as I say, the big issue with this car is understeer. Now, because it is fairly quick as well. As you see, I'm in 3rd gear here. Very unusual to be in 3rd gear here. Most of the time you're in 2nd in the Group 3 car, or potentially even 1st if you're in the likes of the Porsche, or maybe a few other cars which are high revving. As you see, I stay in 5th here, and I'm so low in the rev range, but it's worthwhile doing. The stability's there, slight bit of understeer, so I had to lift off, and we continue on through this. Now we get down to the corner where stability is tested, basically. Now I'm going to drop to 3rd gear here again. I'm staying in the higher part of the gears. It means the car stays so stable, and I can just plant my foot, and you just see a little bit there because the torque band goes up. So torque reaches its peak well before brake horsepower. So if you were to do 2nd in that point, as we just go through the chicane, which is very sketchy, I hit that a number of times. I'll explain that in a little bit. But if you hit the power band, so you change 2nd to 3rd gear, it can affect the car and you get more wheel spin because of where the horsepower is and the torque. So that's why I'm sort of staying in the higher gears, and you'll sort of see that on exit as well. As I change, you can just see the car there, instant change. Car loses stability a little bit there, so it does struggle on that. However, we get the fastest time we've ever had at Dragon Trail in terms of optimum in the Corvette, as you can see it there. Very interesting stuff as we head to Interlagos. Obviously here we're testing undulations. Is the car affected by weight transfer of the undulations? Of course, curbs again. Obviously we overlap on quite a few of these circuits. And again, you can see the understeer here, car running very wide there compared to other cars. So with the curbs, what you find is that with being front engine rear wheel drive, when it sort of hits the curb, it full on hits it like at the front, so square on. Now in MR cars, obviously the front lifts. In this it doesn't lift, so you can hit them square on, but you've just got to be careful with that. So coming into here, we're going to struggle with a little bit of understeer, and then instantly as we start to accelerate, you can just see that we go very wide there. And as we come in, you may have seen the track guide for this. If you haven't, go check it out, well worth doing. You can know my braking point for that corner. Here is a very good point, right? So usually in most cars, stability is an issue there. no issue at all in this car. It's fantastic. However, there's a bit of a stability issue coming out of this corner, so I have to try and straighten out as best as I can, which I do, and I'm going to lift off for quite a while here. And the reason I lift off for so long is understeer, and you can see I'm running very wide there as I come into this last corner. Again here, not too many stability issues. Obviously a lot of cars will have stability issues there running that wide, but if you straighten out the corner, Corvette is fine. And as well, I'm staying in the higher gear, so I was in third gear there, where in most cars I'd be in second, or potentially first in some, but it's mostly second in the majority of cars. As we come across the line, we're down in the 130.5s, and is that the fastest? That's the fastest again at Interlagos. So you know, we're 2 up. As I say, undulations have no effect, curb very limited effect on this car, and it's very stable in terms of when you can pick your gears that you want. Nürburgring, it's a very balanced circuit, so we've got a few curbs in there. We've got the chicane obviously, which can be a bit of an issue. This first section obviously more tests handling. Later on we've got the faster straights where we can test speed as well. Going through here, just coming into this braking zone, we can get onto this section. Very slippy in this car, that section. I had to be quite careful, and especially coming out of here as well. I found that the car liked to oversteer a bit more than normal compared to other cars, but even so we get a 0.7. Our fastest is a 0.6, which is kind of nice. That's up there with the best, with the Porsche. So it's doing very well. So coming through here again, I'm in the higher gears, third gear, fourth gear. That's the theme with this car. You pick your gears that you want to use, and you can literally gain time being in the high gears. Third gear in this corner, very unusual to be this high. I mean, we're so low on the speed, but because it gives me so much stability, no change in gears, I can get an advantage. And you see the time I gained there, 2 tenths there in that corner. And as we continue on, again, understeer on the Schumacher rest there. Just had to lift off a little bit, and we also clip the dirt. And then coming into here, third gear, turn in, try and accelerate out. Just be a bit careful of oversteer there, because we're at sort of the peak end of the horsepower. Through we go. Look at the stability. It's so stable. If you can nail it right with the gears, it is so stable, this car, as we continue on to the chicane. So as I say, with this car, you can hit curb square on and it doesn't have issues compared to MR cars. So as you see, I'll come in here, I'll hit it, it stays stable because the weight instantly falls back down. I can turn the car like an MR car where the front will lift, and I continue on, so I can get a good time here. Going through this last corner now, accelerate out. You can see my optimum's down there at 154.6. I think I gained a tenth, a hundredth there, sorry, not even a tenth, and then you can see it there, 154.848. Is that right actually? 154.848? I've got it down a slightly different time on my spreadsheet. Bit unusual, I'll have to check that. So we'll continue on into Suzuka, and again this is a very balanced circuit. So again, we're looking at handling in this first section. This will find out a lot of cars. So as we found out with the Porsche, it was very good in this section. It could fly through here. I think it was in the 32s. I think it's been the only car in the 32s in this first section. We get a 33.1, I think. Yep, there we go, 0.107. So we're with the majority of cars. Got to be very careful on this corner. Suffers with understeer, got to be very careful there. I went off in the gravel several times. As you can see, we're down back to the normal amount of laps now because we've got used to the car and the wheel, etc. Going through here, third gear again, we'll use all the exit there, trying to straighten it out and try and use as much of the power as possible. We've lost a bit of time though, and then coming into here, now this is very sketchy in this car, this part of the track. Obviously we're in second gear, but it seems like the torque is in the wrong place at that corner, so to get the power down is very hard. I did struggle there a little bit, so keep that in mind. If I was in first gear, it was even worse. First to second transition, but staying in second, I could just try and straighten it as best as I could, and then go up to third gear. Coming into the spoon, a little bit of issue with stability at the end of the rev. Obviously, you could change to fourth there, but you're coming back down to third, so it's a bit of a useless gear change and could affect the weight of the car. As we head up to our speed trap now, and we are going to continue to use this as a speed trap. I've done tests at other circuits, it's just the same at the end of the day, and we get a 156 there, so we're right at the top end of that leaderboard. Obviously 157 is the best as we come into this final sector. Just missed the apex on the first part, but we cut quite a lot of the second. Accelerate out, be careful of any oversteer. We got that a few times on a few laps, but as we head towards the line, we get 158.655. So let's look at that spreadsheet. Now we'll have to check the Nürburgring time after. I just realised that. However, we go into second place with that. But even with that Nürburgring change, if it's needed, it's second or third, you know what I mean? It's up there with the best. The 22s, not 23s. So in terms of comments, don't have to hit the rev limiter. It's normally 3/4 on that tachometer, and you've got a choice of gears. You know, if you want to go for the max in your revs, you can do. I choose to go for the higher gears to solve stability issues. So there's not really weight transfer issues. Obviously a bit of weight transfer will affect the understeer a little bit more, and it does have quite a bit of understeer, and that's where the car struggles a little bit. And it's just very quick across the rev range, so it's fairly stable, which is why it's got a stability risk indicator of 3, because I think you can use this car very well. And as you can see, it's patch 1.17 now, and I know a few of these cars have had BoP changes. We're going to look at them after. I said I was going to do the NSX, but then we had a few more, so I'm going to do them after. We're just getting our initial times in, and we can change the power and weight accordingly. So I hope you enjoyed that little car profile. More car profiles to come. We're going to hit them fast and hard now. Now we've got a working wheel. So there's a video playlist there if you want to watch another one. My logo's there if you want to subscribe. That's it for now. So thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.